Hey guys, Tina here and welcome to another weekly reads video. This is week 6 of 2017. What is going on? Where's the year going to? It's just flying by, I feel like, and I want it to stop a bit, or at least slow down, so I will have more time. That's what I want. But this is not a video about me whining about time, but about what I read in the previous week and what I hope to read this week. Last week started off with me reading, what did I read? I started a series of unfortunate events by Lemony Snicket. This is The Bad Beginning, in which we learn about these kids losing their parents and having to go live with their foster parents. And the first of those is Count Olaf, who is, well, not really a great parental figure. I never read this series as a kid. It's not really popular here, and I think that I'm not gonna be continuing on with it. I started reading it because I want to see the TV show, and I figured I'm gonna read the books first. But I just do not feel, or well, actually, I do not want to continue on with the series. It just didn't intrigue me enough. I think it would probably be different if I read them as a kid and I would be rereading them now, because I would have some sort of history with these books, but they do not interest me at all. I started book 2, but I just said, I'm not gonna do this. I want to read other books, and I will just watch a TV show, and that's that. If maybe one day, I will decide to pick them up again, well, that's fine, but right now I do not feel the need to do that at all. So that was book 1 that I read last week. I also got to read one other book, and that was The Dark Days Club by Alison. The Dark Days Club by Alison Goodman, which is book 1 in her, trilogy, I guess, Lady Helen trilogy, which tells the story of Lady Helen, who is this, lady, she's 18 and she's supposed to be introduced to the queen and then start searching for a husband. But along the line, along the way, she sort of realizes that there are demons surrounding her in her world, and that there's this club fighting them, and she sort of gets pulled into that sphere. And I really enjoyed this book. I reread it because I'm anticipating book 2, and it hasn't arrived yet, so that sort of has me, well, not too happy. But I really enjoyed it. It's a fun book. I loved Lady Helen. She is a product of her time, so she's sort of this, she was bred as a lady, she was brought up as a lady, and now she's sort of fighting that because she wants to be part of this club and this world, and it's not something that society would approve, and if she goes against that, she will lose her position in society, and it's a struggle for her. Aside from that, I think she was pretty strong in doing that. She's not, a typical YA heroine because simply of her time and when she was raised and all that, but I really enjoyed it. These demons, they're pretty interesting, and I really like the world. I'm not too certain about her relationship with Lord Carlston. I don't know if there's going to be a romance between them or not. I'm sort of it's this situation, when I think he's older. I do not know how old he is, but I think he's around 30 and she's 18, and it's not something that you usually see in YA books, this sort of age gap between potential romance interest and all that. So I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not. I think that she likes him, or sort of feel that, but I do not know. And I'm intrigued, and I want to see that, because I would expect this sort of age gap in a historical romance. That would be perfectly normal, but this is a YA book, and I'm just finding it weird. Yeah, it's weird, but I don't know. I'm intrigued, and I actually want to see how the story progresses aside from this romantic potentially thing, whatever. But yeah, I'm really liking it, and if you haven't picked it up yet, I do recommend this book. The last book that I read last week is The Way You Look Tonight by Bella Andre, which is a contemporary romance novel, and tells the story of Rafe and Brooke. They used to know each other when they were kids because their families would spend their summers at this lake, but they haven't seen each other for 18 years, and now they meet again. And Brooke had a crush on Rafe when she was a girl, and of course she does still, and it's even greater now, and it's really ridiculous. I didn't really care for this romance novel at all. She was sort of this missish, naive, innocent woman, and he was sort of wild and all into these kinky things that never happen in the book. And I thought it was going to be great, and I wanted to read a great romance novel, but this was not it. I am a sucker though for these books that happen on lakes, and I really love those, so I think that sort of had me intrigued, but sadly the book didn't fulfill my expectations at all. And naturally, I'm still reading The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. This is taking me forever, so I'm not gonna talk too much about it because you are gonna get sick and tired of hearing about it. I will talk more about it once I finish it. I have to say that I'm loving it. I'm loving it, but it's a slow read. I just cannot read it as fast as I would read. If this was a Brandon Sanderson novel, I would read it in 2 days or 3 days, but this is just taking me forever. But I am loving it. I am loving it, and yeah, once I get to the end of it, you will hear a lot about it, I'm sure. So yeah, that's what I'm planning to read this week as well. Aside from that, I'm not going to make any plans because I'm just going to go with what I want to read, in the spur of the moment, whether or not it's going to be Dark Days Pact or whatever the second book is in that, or something else, I'm not sure, but you will learn about it next week. Before I end this video, I will sort of recap January for you, tell you what I read and what that means for my challenges that I'm participating in. I'm not going to talk about the stories because you can learn more about that in my weekly reads videos, weeks 1 through 5. If you want to learn more about these books, I'm just going to sort of go through them really quickly. And one of the books that I read in January is Lemony Snicket, The Bad Beginning, that I just talked about. And this actually fulfilled one of my goals in A Year Around the World in 52 books, and that is blah blah blah, where do we find it? A book with illustrations. It does have a few illustrations, not too many, but it does count. Then I read Look Who's Back by Timur Vermes, which is a story about Hitler coming back, and this fulfills a challenge of reading a book with a historical figure, or about a historical figure, which Hitler is that, even if it's sort of a fictional thing. Then I read Alvin Hamilton's Rebel of the Sands, which counts for, let me read this, I do not remember this one, a book from the Goodreads Choice Awards of 2016. This was there. Then I read Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. This cover is so beautiful. It's that satiny cover, and I really love it, but I do not like the fingerprints on it. I really hate that, that you cannot get rid of them. But yeah, it's a great book, a great cover and all that. I'm just babbling here. Then I read Elon Musk by Ashley Vance. This is a biography of Elon Musk, and it fulfills a challenge of what? A nonfiction, yeah, duh. So yes, it also fulfilled one of my personal goals to read a book in Slovene and a nonfiction, which, as I mentioned, this is. Then I have one of my rereads. This is Truthwitch by Susan Dennard, which is a really enjoyable book. And I reread it because I was preparing myself for, let you guess, I know what it is, Windwitch by Susan Dennard, which was a really enjoyable read. I filmed a review of these two books and I will be posting it really soon. But Windwitch fulfilled another challenge in my year around in 52 books, and that is a book with at least 2 perspectives, and it does have that because we get to see the story from, all of the main characters, and as well as some new ones that we didn't meet before. I also reread The Deal by Al Kennedy. I actually listened to it this time around, and it's a new adult book about a girl and a boy, and I forgot his name, and I forgot her name. Oh, he's Garrett, and she's something else. But I read it last year. I will link the video in which I talk about this book down below. It was a really enjoyable read, but I don't think new adults are supposed to be listened to. It was sort of weird. It was weird, but an interesting experience. But I prefer to read them just in a physical format or, an ebook, but listening to them is ridiculous. At least that's my experience of it. And then lastly, I read the whole Reckoners trilogy. This is Steelheart, Mitosis, which is a novella in between Steelheart and Firefight, and then Calamity is the last book. And Calamity also counts for one of those a year in around the world in 52 books challenge, and that is, let me see, a book that is a continuation of a book you've already read, which, yes, most of those would count, but yeah. So I read 12 books altogether in January. Some of them count for Goodreads Go as well, you know, me reading 100 books. Sadly, 3 do not because there were rereads, but, you know, they count for me, so yes. So that's it for this video. Let me know down in the comments how you are doing with your goals and challenges. Are you sticking to them, or are you already wearing away from them? Anyways, thank you for watching this video, and see you in my next one. Bye!